Oh, baby, what are you still doing dating that man? It's time to stop searching for your father's love in other men. Maybe it's time we start searching for, I don't know, your father's money in them instead. Because men will disappoint you. But the numbers, well, those never lie. Unless we're talking about our body counts, of course. I guess what I'm really trying to say here is, life's a bitch. Maybe rich. Go find a rich husband, baby.
What's crazy about this video is that in a perfect world, this would be satire, but because it's on TikTok and TikTok it has an algorithm that actually rewards delinquent and degenerate behavior, I know it's not. And it's just, this is so absolutely lazy and one also delusional. It's just so lazy, delusional, narcissistic, and this trend that is so annoying that I've seen from women constantly, especially modern women, like girls who are like 20 to 30, that their only plan in life is to leech off of a man's success and wealth. I never see, or so rarely see, viral videos like this one where the women are talking about how they can like contribute to a man. And it's not their job to contribute to a man. I'm not saying that. But if you're in a relationship and there's two people, your goal should be to boost and build each other. But women like this, they're like snakes. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking, oh, this man sucks. How do I find another one? And it's so funny because I see there's so many videos like this of these girls, and that's like their whole mindset is not to be productive members of society, not to learn useful knowledge that can translate into building wealth and improving another human's knowledge and therefore improve their quality of life, but to find a rich man. Let's get into this next video to see how delusional and how crazy these people are.
I'm going to teach you how to attract a rich man into your life. First, think about, why do you want a rich guy? Is it about the money? No, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about wealth. It's about a certain lifestyle that you want. And living a certain lifestyle means that you yourself think that you're deserving of that lifestyle. My life has changed so much in the past couple of months, from guys always wanting me to pay for them, to meet them where they wanted, to guys actually wanting to fly me out to places, actually taking me out for dinner, and actually buying.
Yeah, so just manifest a rich man. This is a totally realistic idea. Totally, it's not delusional. And let's actually, instead of just making an opinion, let's actually make a statistical observation here on why this is just stupid, this whole idea of find a rich man. Because statistically, it doesn't make sense. So let's pull out our handy dandy chart here, or graph, or whatever this word is called here. What we're going to look at is we're going to look at 2024 individual income percentiles for the United States, because if the idea is to marry a rich man and that's the advice that you're giving, that's this trendy advice I see amongst 20 to 30-year-olds, well, how realistic is it to actually even find a rich man in the first place? And first off, what is our definition of being rich? Is it $100,000? Based off some of these tweets I've seen, like this one where it's, men, I make six figures, the six figures, 103,000, like that's somehow some sort of mockery. Or this girl where she's saying six figures is not that much. I want people to understand a man who makes 100K a year is not rich. So it's like, what is our standard here? So let's just say you consider $100,000 to be rich. Well, how realistic is that? Well, let me first kind of show this individual income percentiles. The year 2024, you can see the percentages here on the left side and the dollar amount earned in order to according to how many people are actually in that percentile. So let's see. So if you make $100,000, you are in the top. You make more money than 79% of the population. You're in the top 79% of the income earners. So just out there, you have destroyed. If your definition of being rich is $100,000, you have eliminated 79% of the United States population out of that. And what if you're like these people, like this girl, where she's saying that six figures, like 100K, is not rich, even though you can definitely become rich with $100,000 if you don't let narcissistic leeches that, so-called women into your life, right? So, but let's say, like, hypothetically, you think that $100,000 is not rich. So where do we determine this level? Is it at $150,000? So let's say you think it's $150,000. Well, as you can clearly see from here, the $150,000 mark is the top 10% of income earners, because 90% of people don't make $150,000 a year. And if whatever you're like, 150 is not enough. What about 200? Okay, well, let's look at 200. That's the top 5%. So does it really make sense to for this trend for women to be coaching and teaching women on how to find a rich man when, for a fact, 5% of the population can't accommodate 95% of the population, and the same with 90% of the or 10% of the population with the $150,000 mark. So I'm going to get into something that's actually going to be useful and valuable to you. But first, I do want to show this video just because I just find these types of videos to be absolutely hilarious. Let's get into this one real quick.
If you want to date a wealthy man with a lot of money, but you don't know where to find them, I'm going to tell you where to go. The first place you're going to go and the first thing you're going to do is put on a really cute hot girl walk outfit, and you're going to find a very wealthy neighborhood in your city. You're going to go for a hot girl walk. Next place, whatever city you live in, go to the downtown area, find a really nice high-rise condo or apartment. Make sure one of these condos or apartments has a restaurant or a bar on the bottom floor. Go in, sit at the bar, wait and see how many men come up to you. There are so many men that go to the bar by themselves, especially if it's a bar where they already reside, looking to buy a pretty girl a drink. The next place you are going to look is exclusive events or conferences. I cannot tell you how many times I've just been at a nice hotel in Miami.
All right, I'm going to stop it there because this is a 2-minute video. But it's just, it blows my mind that we have become so, like, that some of these people, and I see this a lot, and I'm going to say majority, and not a majority, but so many women out there are so lazy and entitled that they think their existence should just be rewarded just for, like, looking pretty and going for a hot girl walk or whatever. And I mean, these videos get tons of views. If we look at those 3 videos I just showed us, I mean, there's over 1.1 million views on them. I mean, these aren't small amounts of viewers. I mean, these are getting watched by a lot of people, and it's just so incredibly amazing to me that this is the ideology shared amongst so many young women, is that it's so, and they make it sound so simple. Oh yeah, just put on a dress and go for a hot girl walk, go to a place where some upscale bar goes, or go to some upscale bar where rich men go. So you can fight over 10% of the population. How does this make sense? If this is the predominant ideology and where we're educating women that 90% of the women should fight over 10% of the population, it just makes no sense. And here's the thing. So, okay, let's say you do get that guy to buy you a drink, or you do, what are the odds that he's going to wife you up and allow you to leech off of his wealth, or that he's just going to bang you and keep you on the side and never talk to you again? I would say that, considering that only 10% of the human population in the US makes $150,000 or more, I would say your odds are very low that a man like this is going to wife you up just based on your looks alone, especially if you're not actually bringing anything to the table. Because, so for someone like me, I'm not rich by any means, but I will be, because I have a retirement plan. I have a job which provides me with excessive income, which allows me to allocate consistent contributions to my retirement plan. But when I see women like this, and I have studied the female psyche so much, these are just major red flags. And you see this all the time with women. It's like, how can you think that your vagina is so valuable that it is worth $150,000 for absolutely nothing? It's just insane. It's like, is so many of these 20 and 30-year-old girls are like 5'2", they're decent looking, they make less than $45,000, and they think that they're just entitled to riches. And so my final point with this, and then we're actually going to get into something that's actually going to add value to you, that I'm going to try to translate some knowledge to you, is this so annoying, is that this is, and what it is it is so lazy by these women. And what I see amongst young women in the prevalent thought is that it's so self-centered, and it's just me. And the thing is, it's like, you're going to find a man to do all the work for you so you don't have to actually do any work yourself. And it's incredible to me that rather than being useful in spending your time acquiring knowledge, so you can, if you find a man in a relationship, you guys can grow and build each other up and make each other's lives better, that you would just rather, your plan is to just look pretty and look cute and then lay on your back and who knows God what else. But anyway, let's get into something that's actually going to make you smarter and add some intellect to you. So what I want to talk about is retirement savings. Unlike these women who want to just find a rich man, how do we even get rich in the first place? Because these women obviously want rich men, right? But they don't have an actual plan, and they have no idea as to how a lot of men get rich. So what I want to talk about is retirement savings and the importance of saving for retirement. And today we're going to talk about Roth IRAs in particular. And although I'm not a financial advisor, I do have substantial knowledge that I have spent years upon years of learning this stuff, and I've read multiple books. I have multiple college degrees, whatever, that doesn't matter. But do your own research. But I just want to give you an example because these are things that were never taught to me when I was younger. And now that I am at my age, it gives you a goal. And I'm going to show you some goals that you can set. And then I'm going to show you how your money can grow over time. Because let's face it, if we look at the United States population and how long people live, because yeah, you can argue and say, okay, well, you can't plan for tomorrow. You know what's going to happen tomorrow, but yes, you can. So the average lifespan of an American is 78.81 years. So the odds are, if you're like 25 or 30 and listening to this, you have another 50 years at least on this planet. So why should you not at least set aside $200, $300 a month in an account where it's going to accumulate interest and grow over time? So let's talk about a Roth IRA right now. So a Roth IRA is a type of individual retirement account under U.S. law that is generally not taxed upon distribution, provided certain conditions are met. So what are those conditions? So the Roth IRA conditions and withdrawal rules, in order for the money to be tax-free, the account has to have been open for at least 5 years, and the account owner is at least 59 and a half years old, so almost 60. And you might say that's a long time, but the IRA is a small contribution. This is a small investment you should be making monthly in order to plan for retirement and grow your money. Because if you look at the max contribution limits, because you can't just put $30,000, $40,000 a month into a Roth IRA. The max contribution in 2025 is $7,000 for individuals under the age of 50. So let's break it down, because you might say that then, okay, well, $7,000, that's a lot of money. But if we actually, and this is what I'm going to show you this so you can have a goal in mind. If we break down how much $7,000 is every month, it's $583 every month. And so then if we actually break that down by individual, the days, how much money you need to set aside every day, it's about $20 a month. So it's really not that bad. And again, if you are avoiding these toxic red flag women and not, spending unnecessary money on them. She's talking about guys buying them drinks from the bar. I've seen guys spend $1,000 on girls they didn't even bang in a month. Don't be that guy. Build yourself up, because then, from what we've shown, these women are trying to plot and scheme on how to find a rich man. So make yourself that man that women are trying to plot and scheme to find. So let's say you invest monthly and you find this job and you're able to maintain an excessive income from your financial obligations monthly, your bills, to how much money you make, right? So let's say you are able to achieve an excess of $20,000 a year. So let's say you put that $7,000 into the Roth IRA and you have $13,000 of extra money, because if you're making $80K a year, you really should be living off of about $3,500. So you should have that $20,000 a year. And if you're not making $80K a year, that's okay. Find something that you can do and find some sort of useful skill that's going to allow you to make at least $80,000 a year. So let's actually do the math, and let's show you using a compound interest calculator. And first, because I want to go over the interest. So a Roth IRA, the returns on it annually are typically around 7 to 10%. I'm going to use 6% for this example, because I've seen more realistically that's 6%. Anyway, I want to show you why it's so important to invest regularly and to plan for the long term. Because let's say you make that $20,000 a year. If you just set aside $7,000 a year, you have $13,000 a year where you can do whatever you want with it, and you can have fun with it. So again, we know that the Roth IRA, you can contribute a maximum of $7,000 annually, right? And it grows at 6% a year. So we have this compound interest calculator here. And so what we're going to do is we are going to start off with $7,000, and we're going to show you why you need to do this. Because if you create that excess of income, and you can have fun with your 13 grand a year, but you need to be thinking about when you're old and broken, right? And your body doesn't work. You want to have money available and at your disposal. So Again, we can't withdraw this until we're 60. So we're going to do an example of how this can grow over 30 years to show you why it's so important. Because if you're 35, you can start this now. If you're 45, you can start this now. And I'll show you 3 examples. So we're going to do a 25-year-old that saves until he's 65. We're going to do a 35-year-old that saves until he's 65. And we're going to do a 45-year-old. So we're going to start off with $7,000 for our initial investment. Our monthly contribution is going to be $583 because that's what we can contribute the maximum amount. And then the length of time in years, for the first example, we're going to use 40 years, and our estimated interest rate is going to be 6%. So now we're going to compound this annually, and we're going to calculate how much money. So when you retire, if you set aside $7,000, you will have $1.1 million in retirement savings. And so this is because of the interest that's acquiring. And so if you look, you will only have contributed $286,000, and your money will have 4 or 5x. This is how the rich get richer, because you are constantly getting 6% interest, and then that 6% interest is compounding and you're adding onto it annually. So now let's do the example. If you're 35 and you start this, in 30 years, you'll have $600,000. And look, you'll have contributed 216 and your money will have almost tripled. This is why this is so important. Have that financial balance. If you make $90,000 a year, save 30. If you just put $7,000 a year for your retirement, you'll be able to have so much money when it's time for you to stop working. And then if we do the example of when we are 45 and you do this for 20 years, you'll have $279,000 and you'll have gained $130,000 in interest. So your money will have almost doubled. So, and this is why I'm so annoyed and why it's just so like insane that this ideology of women like this who post these videos on TikTok and they're just like, yeah, get a rich man. How about learn something useful? How about find a man, if you want a man so bad, how about you find a guy that's a decent guy, right? Because not all men are bad, and I'm doing my best to try to educate men and make men, have a calmer demeanor, be more sensible, less sex crazed, have a more grounded and positive outlook on life, be more grateful, be happy to contribute to society, right? Hopefully you kind of get the vibe. And it's just, you got to have the right vibe, man. And I hope that you care about being a good person, because that's really what it comes down to, right? Because yes, some men are creepy. I agree. I wouldn't be making a podcast about how to improve men if I thought men were perfect. I think men are terrible too. That the difference between me and these dumb feminists is I want to actually help you out and contribute knowledge that can make you not terrible, right? I want to share my opinions with you and share my knowledge, and hopefully you get something from it. And 40 years down the line, you can be like, wow, like if I would have never listened to that advice or gained that knowledge, like where would I be at? I would have maybe fallen for one of these crazy, because here's the problem. You would have fallen for one of these crazy TikTok feminist ladies, because again, if we look at the graph, look at the data, right? Only 10% of the population makes $150,000 a year. So these women who have these ideologies, who have these selfish minds and these low IQs that don't actually have any useful knowledge that are going about this, they're going to settle for the guys that are in these lower tax brackets, and that's going to be you. So you don't want to be the victim of one of these women, right? And if you're a woman and you're listening to this, please try to gain some knowledge, be useful, because if we work together, right, we can accomplish quite incredible things. Because in one of the next episodes, I'm going to go over where if you have an actual union and you and your spouse are actual partners, how you guys can make each other's lives so much easier just if you guys cooperate and enter in an agreement where you guys are going to love each other and help each other until death do us apart, which is what you say when you get married. And so many people want to break these vows, and I'm gonna give you an example of what the ideal in a perfect world relationship would be. And so hopefully there will be some people that find this knowledge and they take it and they make use of it. But again, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for following along and listening. Go listen to my other content, because I'm hoping that I'm leaving these little tidbits of information and knowledge out there. And if you listen to a couple episodes, you'll catch the vibe, you'll catch the drift, you'll start to kind of understand some of the things that I'm trying to teach and tell you, and it will help you and improve your life. But again, this has been the Based Blueprint. If you listen to this podcast again thank you so much, and have a great day, okay?